Are you relocating to Crestview, Florida, and you're not quite sure whether or not you should buy your own property or rent out for a little while? Well, I'm going to talk about buying versus renting in Crestview, Florida, so stick around. Hey guys, I'm Stephanie Durham with the Whittemore Group at eXp Realty right here in the Destin-Fort Walton Beach area. If this is your first time to our channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap on that bell just so you're notified each time we do a new video, because we do tons and tons of videos about everything that you need to know about the Destin-Fort Walton Beach area. And we do have a lot of people that reach out to us when they're preparing to relocate here, and they're just trying to get as much information as they possibly can so they're in the know before making that big move. So if you're getting ready to move here to the Destin-Fort Walton Beach area, we would definitely love to help you out. So feel free to reach out to us by phone call, text, email, comment on this video, whatever you need to do to get a hold of us. We got you covered when you're relocating here to the Destin-Fort Walton Beach area. All right, so buying versus renting in Crestview. Well, first, of course, you need to think about your personal situation and why you're moving and how long you plan on staying here in the area. You might be relocating because of a job change, or maybe to be closer to family, or maybe you just need a change of scenery. So you just have to think about if you really want to settle in one area such as Crestview. If you're not already familiar with the Crestview area, you can check out some of our other videos that will discuss more about Crestview and the surrounding areas. If you're coming to be closer to family, maybe you can talk with them and see what areas you like, and maybe you actually do want to purchase in that same neighborhood or just rent out for a while. Also, you need to think about your financial situation when relocating. Do you have enough money to purchase your own property? Because you do have a lot of items to pay for when purchasing property. You have your closing costs, your down payment, inspections. So all of those do add up. So you do have to make sure that you are financially prepared to purchase if that's the route you decide to go. Of course, if you decide to rent instead, you would still have to have your at least first month's rent, or some places require first month's and last month's deposit to match the monthly rent amount. So you have to be prepared for that, just not as much as you would have to prepare for purchasing a house. You also want to think about how long you plan on staying in one area. If you think that you're only going to be a few months, then of course renting would be a better option if you can find a place that can do a month-to-month lease, or maybe a 6-month lease. But just really think about your situation and what works best for your personal situation. So let's talk about renting for a little bit. Of course, if you decide to rent, you would have a lot less financial responsibility. When you sign a lease, you'd have to pay for your deposit and your first month's rent, and in some cases the last month's rent as well. But at least it's not thousands and thousands of dollars that you would have to come up with, like if you were paying your closing costs when purchasing property. Now, even though you do have a set monthly rent during the term of your lease, at the end of your lease, your landlord would be able to increase your rent with notice, of course, well, hopefully, because if the owners are having to pay more in homeowners insurance and property taxes, of course they're going to want their tenants to pay more as well. So fair enough. Also, if you're renting, you wouldn't have to worry about repairs to the property, because if something breaks down, like the fridge or the stove, or maybe the AC breaks down, that wouldn't be your responsibility to have it fixed. It would be the responsibility of the owner or the property management company. So that's less money for you to have to freak out about if something does go wrong within the property. Also, when you're renting, there may be some pet restrictions. So if you do have a lot of animals, or if you have multiple pets, you have to make sure you read through the lease agreement and make sure that your animals are allowed. There are rentals that only allow 2 pets or 2 dogs, and they would have breed restrictions as well. So just make sure before you sign the lease that you are able to bring your furry loved ones with you. And also, when you rent, you do have the freedom to leave at the end of your lease period. So you won't be tied down unless you do need a year or so. But after that lease ends, you're free to either find a place to purchase, or maybe you can speak with the seller and purchase the property that you're renting. It could all work out, especially if you absolutely love the place. That would be an awesome deal. Another thing to keep in mind when renting is that at any time the owner can decide to Another thing to keep in mind when you're renting is that the owner may eventually decide that they want to move into the property themselves, or they may want to go ahead and sell it. Of course, if they're a decent landlord, they would wait till the end of your lease period, and then you wouldn't have a choice but to move out instead of renewing your lease. So just keep that in mind, that you might not be able to stay in there and renew your lease as many times as you want, because the the owner will have the option to either sell the property or move into the property themselves. Now let's talk about buying property. Of course, the best thing about buying property is that you have a place to call your very own, and you can do whatever you want with the property, just depending on if you're in an HOA community. You have to abide by their rules and regulations as well. But if you own your own property, you can do what you want inside the house. You can have whatever paint colors you want, whatever flooring you want. You could change out the kitchen to however you want it. You don't have to ask anybody, just do what it is that you like, because it's your property. You do have to make sure that you can afford to buy a house, of course. In the beginning, I did mention earlier that you will have closing costs to pay for, and depending on what type of loan that you're using, you're going to have a down payment that you have to be concerned with. And you would also need to make sure that the area that you're purchasing in is right for you if you want to purchase there and live there for quite some time, because you would hate to purchase a house and move in and then just change your mind and just want to move on out. It won't be that easy as it would be if you were renting. You can't just terminate a lease or break a lease and move out. So just think about the area and make sure that it is a place that you want to settle in for a little while. Now, if you're wanting to purchase property as an investment, of course, that is a great money-making deal to have some passive income, but you also have to think about the downsides to having investment property, because you're going to be responsible for a lot of things that are out of your hands, such as not so nice tenants or guests if it's a vacation rental. But if you have tenants that really just don't take care of the property and they cause a lot of damage, or they might even decide not to pay the rent, you're going to have a problem on your hands to deal with. It can be very stressful, and then you're going to have to come out of pocket for a lot of money to start the legal process of eviction if they're a tenant that decide to stop paying rent. So keep that in mind as well, that if you decide to purchase investment property, there's some downside to that, but of course it's a great money-making opportunity. Another great thing about when you buy property, let's just say that if it's just you and your significant other, or maybe another roommate, and you have an extra room to spare, you can actually use that as another money-making opportunity. So it's like an investment, but you're actually still living at the property. You could rent out that room as an Airbnb. There are a lot of people out there that are not looking to rent out an entire unit or a whole single-family home. Maybe they can't afford it, or they just need a place to stay temporarily and just need a place to lay their head down and have access to a restroom. You can definitely use that spare bedroom for those that may be in need, and it'll save you some money too off your mortgage, because you're renting it out and that money is just going towards your mortgage, saving you some money. All right, well, I hope this information about buying versus renting helped you decide on whether or not you should buy or you should rent for a little while. If you do rent, maybe you can just use that time to save up money for a bit and purchase later on in the future. If you have any questions or would like to just share your thoughts, please leave us a comment below. Don't forget to like and share this video with anyone you know that may be looking to buy or rent in the Crestview or surrounding areas. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and tap on that bell just so you're notified next time we upload a new video. Again, I'm Stephanie Durham with the Whittemore Group at eXp Realty, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.